Everyone find their way to seat, please. Sit down, please. We're modifying a little bit because of the weather. Some of the candidates are a little bit late, so we're just going to switch order of some things. But if I can have everyone please rise up so we can do the pledge before we start. The flag is right there. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Thank you everyone for coming this evening. My name is Joe Nicastro. I'm a member of the Mount Olive Republican Club and a councilman in the Township of Mount Olive. Before we begin the debate, I would like to mention a few dignitaries we have here. We have plenty of people here tonight. Senator Anthony Bucco is here. Sheriff Rochford is here. Former Assemblyman Guy Gregg. And Committeewoman Christina Ramirez. And I'm sure we have other elected officials here as well, and we welcome all of you here. If you're an elected official and would like to stand up a minute, we'd appreciate that so we know who else is here. Anyone else here? Thank you. So before we begin with the debate, as I said, we're just modifying a little bit. Senator Bucco would like to come up and say a few words to us.
Thank you, Joe, and good evening, everyone. I am running also. I'm on a ballot this year, but fortunately I don't have any competition. So we're pleased with that. It's the first time since I've been running that we've never had a competition in whether a primary or in the general election. So we appreciate all the work that all of the clubs are putting this together tonight. I think it's a great opportunity for the candidates to come here and speak. I remember years ago as a freeholder, we were running all over the county, sometimes 2 and 3 debates at a night, so it's great to have this. But we do appreciate your support. We've been Washington Township has been put into our district now since the redistricting, and Guy Gregg always used to tell me how beautiful Washington Township was, and Guy, you're absolutely right. It is a beautiful, beautiful town. So we appreciate your support, look forward to working with you and working for you in the next 4 years. Thank you.
Sheriff, I believe you.
Thanks, Joe. It isn't often when Tony and I are the warm-up act for the main bout coming up tonight, but we do appreciate giving us a few minutes to say hello. Now, I'm also on the ballot this year, and I don't have a contest. I don't have a challenger. Does anybody know how I got on the ballot? Do you know how to get on the ballot? Well, I had to get a petition signed by 100 registered Republican voters who live in Morris County. And all the candidates who would be running for sheriff, they would have to get 100 names on the ballot. And the Democrat side, they would also get 100 names on the ballot. And whoever won would then run in the November general election. Now, I'm a Republican, and I've won the primaries. If you're going to run for sheriff in Morris County, should you be a Republican or a Democrat? Does anybody have any ideas? Okay. The first sheriff was in 1739, and since that time we have never had a Democrat sheriff. We have never had a Democrat county clerk. We've never had a Democrat surrogate. And the surrogate, the county clerk, and myself were constitutional officers. Now, who is my boss? Does anybody know who I report to? Is it Doug Cabana back there, the freeholder? Is it John Bonani? Is it Tony Bucco? Who is my boss?
People.
Your wife. Citizens.
Yeah, my wife. Yeah, you're right. The Constitution says that we only report to the electorate. So if you are a registered voter in Morris County, you are my boss. And it's the same for Joan Bramhall and John Pecoraro. So if you don't like the job I'm doing, you vote me out of office, but hopefully you like the job I'm doing and you keep me in office. So in the past 4 years, we have reduced our agency by 17 officers, and we've also cut about $5 million. So we have been working very hard with the Freeholder Board. We have a great Freeholder Board. They're very conservative, which I agree with, and they want to make sure they maintain the proper emergency services at the least possible cost, and that's what they're doing right now. Historically, I have always done exceptionally well in the elections in the western part of Morris County. And I just want to say tonight, thank you to each and every one of you, because I sincerely appreciate all the support you always give me. Normally I get about 72 to 74% of the vote up here, and I think in Chester Borough last year I got almost 85%. So guys, thank you, I appreciate it so much.
I was just wondering, I didn't see you, Christina, if you want to come up and say a few words?
I'm Christina Ramirez, and I do have a challenge, and I'm up on this ballot, and I have a challenger in this race. I have been your state committee woman since 2005. I know many people in this room. For those of you who do not know me, I live with my husband Ed over there in Morristown and our granddaughter. We have a family of 3 children, 2 grandchildren. I former AT&T retired executive. I retired in 1998, and politics became my job because I spend many hours a day doing it. I stand for our Republican principles, and what does that mean? It means that I believe in limited government, I believe in personal freedoms, and I believe in personal responsibility. And I believe that every one of us in the Republican Party needs to work to elect Republicans in our county, in our towns, in our state, and I do that. I do it many hours every single day. Like I said, I'm on the computer at 5 o'clock in the morning. Many of you know that because you get my emails. I hear that people are tired of hearing from me, so I've been trying to jive up my emails with a little bit of color. So I'm in the Easter egg colors right now. If you have any questions, I'd love to answer it. I'm running the phone banks right now for Governor Christie in Morristown. We have volunteers coming every day. We've now gone to a 9 to 9 schedule, 9 a.m. in the morning to 9 p.m. in the evening. So we did that to accommodate any people that couldn't fit into the schedule that we have. Any questions that you have for me, I'd be happy to answer them. Let's take 10 seconds if you have questions. Yes.
We had several towns that voted for President Obama last cycle. Since we're down 700,000 votes statewide, registration-wise, as the Democrats, what are we doing to make sure that the plurality out of Morris County is back up to the numbers it should be?
That's a great question. People are saying, why are you working so hard to get the vote out in this primary? Not just for the people that are in this room that are running a contested race. We're doing it to practice for the fall because we need people to come out and vote, and we want a huge plurality for our governor to show that Republicans stand strong in the state of New Jersey. And we're working really hard to do that, to get out the vote efforts and calling people every day. We're asking volunteers to come in. We have a lot of new faces that have been showing up in the Morristown office, and it's really encouraging to see that. Anything else? Okay, thank you very much for your time, and I would appreciate your support on Tuesday, June 4th.
I believe all the candidates are here now, I believe. Or I guess we'll, either way, I guess we're moving on. Okay. So what we have is, I was going to say, on behalf of the event is sponsored by the Republican clubs of Chester's, Mendham, Long Valley, and Mount Olive. And I'd just like to welcome everyone to the 2013 debate. I'd like to recognize a few people this evening first who helped and thank them. The Republican Club presidents, Ed McCarthy of Mendham, Chester, Bill Wagermuth of Long Valley, Dave Cuptier of Mount Olive, who was not here, he's out of town, but Joe Weemet, our vice president, is here who helped. And also like to thank Phyllis Flort, Mendham Club, for all she's done to put together, former mayor here as well. Okay, a little housekeeping before we begin, and then we'll get them set up on here. There's a table in the back as well for literature, so you know there's some literature out there if you guys want to get it on the way out. Also, in order for everyone to hear the candidates, we would appreciate, we have microphones, we weren't going to have them, so I'm glad we have microphones, but we would appreciate everyone being quiet during the question and answers and being respectful of the candidates. The evening is being taped and it will be distributed to our local TV stations, and hopefully we'll be able to get it to put online as well, which will help as well. You received a postcard and a pen on the way in. If you didn't, we have them for you. If you have any questions that you would like answered, please write the question, address it to either the clerk, freeholder, or both, and just hold it up and someone will be around to get it from you. This way, if we have time allows, we will take questions from the audience for that as well. So with that, I believe, Bill, we want to go through pick the order of the candidates. through here, if the candidates would come up, please, for clerk. We're doing clerk first, I'm sorry, and then the freeholders after. Number 3 or number 1?
Oh, I'm the one again. I know, I got 3. Thank you.
This is barely getting on. Yeah. That's just good, man.
Can everyone sign in the retreat? Around your line? I appreciate it.
We're going to fix everything else. That's it.
Okay. Just want to go through the format for this evening so you can it's a single moderated debate. Candidates will be given 90 seconds for an opening and closing statements. The opening statement will begin with the first candidate and then it will be reversed for the closing. We'll use a format of question and rebuttal, with the moderator will manage to keep time on track. Each candidate will have 1 minute to answer a question, followed by rebuttals. Each candidate will have up to 30 seconds for a rebuttal, but there will be no rebuttals till all candidates have the opportunity to answer the question first. With that, I believe I would like to introduce our timekeeper. Mark Armstrong is here. Mark will hold up a yellow paddle, which has a 15-second warning on it, and then a red paddle, I believe, or the flag. What is it? The flag. We'll find it. The flag will signal the end. Your time is up. So when you see that flag, that's time to stop there. Our moderator tonight I'll introduce is Jack McCarthy. He's the Vice President of the Chester's Mendham Republican Club, as well as a local attorney. And with that, I will introduce the candidates, and I do apologize if I don't pronounce everything properly. Names up front. But candidates for clerk are Lori Bogard, who is, I believe, on her way yet. Here. Ann Grassi. Zbigniew Nowacki. Right. Michael Sancelli. And James Vigilante. Thank you to all, and we're ready to begin our debate.
I'm Jake McCarthy. We got to get close, but opening statements will be 90 seconds each. Mark will be timing them. We're going to go in the order that you were picked, and then we will be mixed. We'll go reverse order for closing statements, and throughout the night we will alternate, so no one has to go first every time with questions. With that, we'll get started. Opening statement by candidate Sancelli. Sure, absolutely.
Hi, my name is Michael Sancelli. Before I get into the other details, I am married to the woman of my dreams, 19 years, God bless her, put up with me. My wife, Debbie. I have 2 children, Brett and Courtney. Brett is 18, Courtney is 16. Courtney is our campaign manager. She yells at me if I don't wear pink, so tonight I wear white and brown, so she yelled at me. I'm from Jefferson Township. I've been a councilman in Jefferson 15 years, currently the council vice president. I'm running for county clerk. I'm a member of the Sons of American Legion. I'm a member of the NRA. I'm a member of the State Federation of Sportsmen's Clubs. I am a 4th degree Knights of Columbus for 20 plus years. I've been a member of the Morris County Republican County Committee Executive Committee under Oscar Doyle. I've been on the county committee for 23 years, I think it is, 24 years, something like that, 23 or 24, give or take a year. I'm currently an inspector for the Morris County Public Works Department. I believe I'm the best candidate for this job. I started with the clerk's office 21 years ago under Alphonse Sherbo. I know the office inside out and backwards. I've dealt with municipal budgets for 15 years. I negotiated the first 4-year police contract in Jefferson Township. I believe in teamwork. Us as a unit in the clerk's office will make the clerk's office better every day. The clerk's office is a well-oiled machine. Thank you very much. I got the flag.
No, I think I'm okay. Thank you. Okay. I'm sorry I'm late. Hello, I'm Lori Bogart. I'm the president of the Morris County Women Republican Club. And I'm running for Morris County Clerk as a fiscal conservative who will keep the clerk's office working well with the freeholders for it. I think that's important because what we want to do is we want to keep costs down and we want to keep taxes down too. I'm not a career politician, but I have been working on the government level of the county for 25 years. I started out in 1987 working for a county assignment judge. Since then, I nurtured and developed 2 law firms. Currently, I'm working for a law firm that I own and operate in Mendham, New Jersey, and my focus is residential real estate. While I respect the other candidates, I come at the issues with a different perspective, a business perspective. I try to keep the costs down and I try to keep taxes down. That's the perspective that I bring to the clerk's office. As a fiscal conservative, I say no to outrageous union and government pensions. One of my candidates, Ann Grassi, is currently collecting a government pension and a government salary. I disagree with this and I would never do this. What I believe in is reform of the realty transfer fee, keeping taxes down and keeping more money in taxpayers' pockets. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I actually had a 90-minute speech, but since Ms. Bogart decided to lob a fireball at me, let me respond to that. Let me clarify what Lori is trying to say. As an employee of the state and county, you are offered an opportunity to pay into your retirement in the same way private sector employees and companies do. Over 2 decades, I started to pay into that retirement fund. I have more than 26 years in that retirement fund of paying into it. Although modest, the $21,000 annual pension will still be helpful to me and my family. In a similar way, Lori Bogart's husband, who is a Superior Court judge in Essex County, receives benefits from the state. In Judge Bogart's case, he will receive a pension the equivalent of 75% of his current salary of $165,000, which amounts to $124,000 a year. In addition, the state provides very nice health benefits for him and his family. Therefore, it is not necessary for Lori, should she be elected clerk, to take the health benefits associated with that position, as she already has them through her husband, as their collective salaries, again, should she be elected clerk, will be approximately $300,000 a year. I think it's important for the public not to demonize people who take their pensions. I'm not rich. I'm just asking to be treated the same way every other constitutional officer would be treated. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Big Nowaki, and I think so you see what I'm talking about. You want a career politician, you know, vote for them, but I don't think so. You know what? I don't have any connection to the government, to the local government. I'm just a regular guy, accountant, working hard every day. No connection to, you know, I don't know anybody in the government, and, you know, I'm just working hard, you know. So go ahead, vote for them. I can finish right now. But anyway, let me start about me. I'm resident of Denver for the past 17 years. I'm married, 2 kids, and I've been working hard for the 20 years. I didn't speak any English 20 years ago. I never thought about it that I'd be running for Morris County Clerk to serve the people of Morris County, not to try, you know, do anything else. Anyway, so I was an auditor for 2 years in Essex County. I worked for a firm that audit Essex County, Newark, and any other town in Essex County. So basically I know all the ins and outs of government, how it works. And then after that, working as an auditor is a long hours, and my wife decided, you know, it's tough. So then I changed job, and I'm working currently for Morris County Treasurer's Office. And you know, I think so I'm the best candidate for that position, because I work with John Brampo, you know, and a realty transfer fee and everything else. Thank you very much. Please vote for me, June 4th. I'm number 4.
Good evening, everyone. I am Jim Vigilante. I'm also running for Morris County Clerk. I'm born and raised in Parsippany. Spent 12 years on the Township Council as the President, Vice President, and regular council member. I own a small business in Parsippany for the last 25 years, and I'm also a United States Air Force reservist. I recently, over a year ago, did a tour in Kandahar. Some people say to me, why do you always tout your military record? A couple of reasons. One, I'm very proud of it. That's number one. Two, as anybody knows, that the military is one of the greatest organizations in the country, if not the world. And one of the things that the military puts out is a lot of leaders. A lot of quality leadership people come out of the military, either go back into the private sector or serve their entire career in the military. For those of you that don't know, the Morris County Clerk's office does a few things. One, it does all your deed, mortgage, and map filings. Anything that has to do with your property gets done through the county clerk's office. Did about $36 million last year, and one of the biggest fees that we took in was the real estate transfer fee that you all know that you pay when you sell your house. We also do passports, and we also do DD Form 214, which is the military record of active duty service. And the other thing is the elections. Now, as far as the elections are concerned, it's very limited what we do. We work in conjunction with the Superintendent's Office and the Board of Elections. So what the Clerk's Office does is they put out the absentee applications and they collect them. They do not count them. That's the Board of Elections. We certify results and we make up the county ballot order. Okay? So that in itself is what is required of a leader. So my time's getting ready to be up. I'll talk more, but thank you very much for your time. And one more thing. Happy Memorial Day to all my veterans out there.
Okay, thank you. Candidates, if we could remain seated for the questions. We're going to move fairly quickly through these questions. Coming up to the voting each time will be a little disruptive. The rules, again, are 1 minute to answer each question. After each candidate has answered the questions, we will then have 30 seconds for rebuttal. First question. There are approximately 33 staff members in the clerk's office, including a deputy clerk, chief clerk, confidential assistant, and a private secretary. Do you believe the department is adequately staffed or overstaffed? Please explain why. We'll begin this question, the answering by candidate Vigilante.
You can just leave it in the stand. We'll pick you up. Don't worry. That's fine.
Ever since I made my announcement run for the clerk's office, I visit them quite often, and I've been talking to some of the workers and getting their opinions and ideas. It seems to me that the clerk's office is running a little understaffed, but yet they're doing a great job, and nobody's complaining up there. If I were elected to be clerk, my job would be go and analyze and talk to all the workers and see what their input is. You don't want to be like a bull in a china shop, especially when you go into a place that is run as well as it's been run. It collects the fees that it collects and shares them with the county and the state. So as far as the answer to the question, I wouldn't do anything until I talk to my workers and learn from them.
Okay, Mr. Nowacki, please.
Okay, actually I went and, I spoke with some of the other researchers, and they said that the department's understaffed, and they told me if one of the workers actually is out, they have to wait until they can have access to the other files and search. So I think that the office is understaffed, but what I think would be the best for the department is to cross-train all the employees so they know how to substitute, because not every department is, and not every section of the department is always busy, and they don't know what's left hand doing to the right. So basically, they need to be cross-trained. So, and the same like Jim said before, until you're in the office, you know if they understaffed or overstaffed.
Thank you. Freeholder Grossi.
Yes, as a member of the Budget Subcommittee at the Freeholder Board, I've had the opportunity to review all of the budgets throughout the county as well as the county clerk's budget. Now, I personally know that the county clerk has cross-trained all of her staff so that when someone is absent, someone else can take their place. They have reduced their staff over the years, not replaced people, and what I would do is take the same approach that I've always taken. I would like to see what exactly all those people do and to see how we can economize on those. You really can't do that until you get in the job and you actually see what people are doing and how the office is truly operating. I do know that the county clerk's office is a very efficient and well-run office. I've used it. The people in there are terrific, and I would wait to see how it should be, what changes should be made.
Thank you. Candidate Bogart.
Thank you. I agree. I think that one of the most important things is getting to know the departments. There's several departments at the clerk's office. And you need to get to know the departments, and you need to get to know the individuals. I think the titles of some of these jobs are a bit deceiving. One title that I came across the other night was a temporary confidential assistant. And that was something that you could look at and say, what is that person and what does he or she really do? Well, I sat down with Joan Brunhall today and we looked at it and we found out exactly what her duties and responsibilities were, and it was well warranted. I think those are the things that you need to do. What is important in this job is being able to cooperate with people, not bump heads with people, and to work well with them. I've always done that in the past, and I plan to do that in the future as well.
Mr. Santelli, please.
The Morris County Clerk's Office has a salary and wage budget of about $1.6 million, give or take a few dollars. An operating budget of about $225,000. 33 employees, like Mrs. Grassi said, they're all cross-trained, every one of them. That's how it was 21 years ago, and that's how it is today. Each person can fill right into another department. They're not understaffed, they're not overstaffed. Are there things we can look at? Absolutely. Every one of us will agree on that. We can look at things once we get in there. I think what we need to do is go in there and sit down as a team. Each person, every day, sit down. What do you do? How can we make it better for you? If we can make it better. And that's the approach we should take. And I think we all agreed on that. That for once we all agreed on something, and that's how it should be. We should all go in there with our heads up, our eyes open, and see what's going on. Thank you. Go from there.
Given all the agreement, is there any need for rebuttal on this question? Mr. Vigilante, would you like to rebut?
Yes, sir.
Anyone else down the line? Okay, we'll move on, which will allow more time for audience questions. Question 2, and we'll begin this with Mr. Nowacki. How will you measure the effectiveness of each member of your staff? And what specific goals will you set for each department within the office?
That's a tough one. Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. How will you measure the effectiveness of each member of your staff? And secondly, what specific goals will you set for each department within the office?
So how we measure? It's not easy to measure because it depends on the day, how many researchers or how many deeds is in the office. So basically, if people, you can get a quarterly review or half a year review and see or observe them, just see what they're doing. Honestly, I don't know the answer to this question, but it's a tough one. Sorry.
Freeholder Grossi.
Yeah, I have extensive management experience at the executive management level, and truthfully, the way you look at how employees operate is how well they're doing their job. Whatever that particular function is, how well they get that task completed, and how fast they do it, and how much production they have. And so, for me, I would be looking to see that every employee is living up to their whatever is in their evaluation process. And once I get to know the positions better, it's not unlikely for me to turn around and increase standards. I did that when I worked as Chief of Enforcement of over statewide operations with a staff of more than 300 people underneath me. And I really, and that is the way you work. You work within the framework of what their job description is and what their output is.
Candidate Bogart.
Thank you. Yes, extensive management experience. I know that Ann Grossi has had extensive management experience with regard to the Newark Teachers Union that she had worked for as executive director as well. But what we're dealing with here is something that is much smaller scale. It's the clerk's office. And I sat down with Joan Brandhall, I spoke with her, and what she does is she brings in each department head. There's a department head for each of her areas, and she brings them in on a weekly basis, and she sits down with them and talks to them about the employees to see if there are any issues that she needs to address. And she sits down with each and every employee to talk to them and to discuss any solutions or problems that they may be experiencing. I think that's the right approach, and that's the approach that I would take as clerk.
Mr. Santelli.
One of the things to be an effective leader is you have to have compassion. And compassion is that you wouldn't sit down with an individual department, because in my administration in the clerk's office, there is one department. There isn't 7 different ones, there isn't 8, there isn't 9, it's one. Everybody, like we said earlier, is cross-trained. So we're going to function as one unit. To evaluate them, of the salary and wages I told you before, they collect $36 million in revenue in 2012. I think they run very well. And the employees in there, you go in there, there's a smile on their face. And that's paramount for me. You come into that office as the public, you're going to smile. And when you leave that office, I ran an organization called Dirt Motorsports for 29 years. I was a race director. 37 different racetracks spanning 9 states. 1,700 employees. And I had to make sure they all did the same thing at the racetracks. And the biggest thing I taught them was, when those people leave the stadium, they're going to say, wow, that was awesome. And that's how it's going to be in the clerk's office with me. You're going to say, wow, when you leave.
Mr. Vigilante.
You're basically going to have about 30-something plus people. You need to have management skills. In order to have those management skills, you have to have leadership ability. The ability to lead people, the ability to motivate them to get the task done at hand. What I've always found effective, at least for me, is going with eyes and ears open. Listen to your people, just like I would in the military. Listen to my young folks. Let them tell me what they think should be done and not be done. But that being said, the ultimate responsibility lies within that leader, that manager of those people. So as far as the effectiveness of the office, I would measure that by my conversations with the people that actually work there. And as far as what goals I would set for each of the departments or the county clerk's office as a whole, is like anything else, give them the resources. You know, deal with the freeholders, deal with the folks that you need to do to get them the resources to do their job the best way they can. Because remember, what they're doing is they're taking care of a customer, and that customer is the Morris County resident.
Mr. Nowacki, would you like to rebut anything? Any other candidates? Ms. Freeholder Grossi?
Yeah, I would just like to thank Ms. Bogart for bringing up my extensive experience with the Newark Teachers Union. I was the Associate Executive Director, and I have to say that Governor Christie has been working very hard to make a friend with labor, and he's been introduced with labor, and I am a fiscal conservative. And I don't believe that when you're a fiscal conservative that you have to be in loggerheads with labor. Labor, my grandparents were in labor, probably a lot of yours, maybe some of the people here. Those are the people who built this country. That's the mortar of this country. And I'm not ashamed for having worked at the union.
Candidate Bogart.
Sure. I just respectfully say that working in that area as an executive director is hardly what I would call a fiscal conservative, let alone a Republican. And I feel very strongly about keeping taxes lower, and I feel very strongly about saying no to outrageous unions and government pensions, and that's what I stand for. So that's just my philosophy.
Candidate Santelli.
Compassion, that's all.
Candidate Vigilante, any rebuttal?
I'm good, sir. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to the third question. Are you committed to a fair and open process for filling all positions in the clerk's office, including political appointments? We're going to begin with Freeholder Grossi on this question.
Could you repeat that in here?
Sure, no problem. Are you committed to a fair and open process for filling all positions in the clerk's office, including political appointments?
I don't really know of any political appointments in the clerk's office except for maybe the deputy clerk, but I wouldn't call that a political appointment. But yes, I do believe in a fair and open process, and the county government opens under the fair and open process. Everything goes out to bid, and I am a huge proponent of that and transparency. So yes, I do agree with that.
Candidate Bogart.
Of course, I think all processes in terms of choosing candidates for employment purposes should be fair and open. There is a political appointment. I believe that is the deputy clerk, and that person should be chosen with the credentials of being able to work successfully and cooperatively with the board of chosen freeholders and with the fellow clerk employees. I think it's very important to be cooperative, not bump heads with any of those people. So that's what I would choose in terms of the best credentials for that type of political appointment.
Candidate Santelli.
Yes, open, fair process. We live by it in Jefferson Township. We're a model for a lot of towns in Morris County. Political appointments are tricky. The person, when I'm elected clerk, to be the deputy clerk, would be somebody, A, I could trust. Because if you're not there, or if you're in a different part of the building doing something, you have to trust your office to that person. So trust is big. It's not political. It's what's going to make it work together as a team. That person's going to be the right hand or left hand person of me and the rest of my staff. It's going to be somebody that can work hard. Thank you.
Candidate Vigilante.
As far as the duties of the office, whoever gets elected will take an oath of office, and I do solemnly swear to do all the duties of that office. As far as the deputy clerk, me personally, again, what I find works for me is if I'm going to pick somebody, I'm going to pick somebody that my weak points are their strong points and vice versa. Because I want a nice relationship. I want somebody that, you know, if I need be, I can bounce things off of it and vice versa. I would not want to put somebody else with all my qualities, so to speak, in there because I just feel that wouldn't work for me. But me personally, I would find a deputy clerk that would complement me rather than complicate me.
Candidate Nowak.
Okay, so I'm not sure about the, I'm not sure if there's a need for another, person in the department. I think I will go with a standard, procedure, look at the job needs, and then go and look at the resume for the person and just try to fit the position to the person, not the person to the position the other way around. So basically, I will go to the standard procedures that the county has for employment. If deputy clerk, I think that would be the best person to appoint for somebody who's been in the office, maybe somebody who moved from one department to another department. And I don't see any favoritism. Basically go the standard procedure, what's county as a standard operating procedures. Thank you.
Any rebuttal, Freeholder Dawson?
I would just like to say that in response to Ms. Bogart's comments, that I am a fiscal conservative, and I have a proven record of being a fiscal conservative. I was elected as a fiscal conservative 3 years on the Freeholder Board, and I made promises to reduce spending and reduce taxes, and I did just that. And I've done that when I spent 5 years on the council in Parsippany. I changed various laws. I made anti-stacking law. I stopped the use of cars for personal use, and many, many other things. Thank you.
Candidate Bogart.
Okay, I'm not sure which question we're on because actually Ann Grassi did not respond to the question at hand. If we're going to talk about our philosophies, I could bring up the fact that I was taken back a bit when you brought in my husband to this. There's an administrative office of court that says that judges cannot respond politically to any of these. You're an attorney and you should know that. I stand on my own 2 feet, and any type position that my husband may hold is separate and apart from anything that I'm seeking.
Candidate Sanchel, any rebuttal? No. Mr. Vigilante, any rebuttal? Mr. Nowacki, any rebuttal? Before we move on to the next question, we're collecting questions from the audience for the time that we have left after 6 questions that I'll be asking. Phyllis, who's actually collecting the questions?
We're collecting them back here, so if anyone has cards,
We'll move on to question 4. Please tell us your position on the realty transfer fee that is collected by the clerk. What, if anything, will you do to reduce it? And we will start with candidate Bogart.
Thank you. I know. I don't know if this stretches. Does this stretch? Okay. What's very important to know is that the realty transfer fee is something that's imposed on the seller of real estate. It's a tax. They call it a fee, but it's a tax. And in the county of Morris, the tax that's collected presently per year is $36 million. In 2008, when we had the first-time home buyer credit, the amount that was collected in the realty transfer fee was $50 million. Not $36 million, but $50 million. And that's because there was an incentive or a credit or something to stimulate the market. People kept more money in their pocket, and at the same time, the county gained more revenue. That's what I want to do. I want to keep more money in the taxpayers' pockets, and I want to increase revenue to the county of Morris.
Candidate Sanchel.
The realty transfer fee, first of all, the Morris County Clerk's office does not write legislation nor vote on it. I think it would take a monumental earth moving to get Trenton to agree to reducing a tax. Anyone that has an idea on that, I'd be first to listen. But the realty transfer fee, the revenues are generated economically. The economy's good, people are selling their houses, they're collecting more revenue. The economy tanks, people are not selling their houses, you're getting less revenue. But as far as the lower realty transfer fee, can it happen? Oh, I'm sure it could, eventually. Boy, that would be really tough to do in an economy like right now. Thank you.
Candidate Vigilante.
As I said before, I own a small business. I'm a carpenter by trade. I'm a home builder. So back in the early 2000s when I was selling a house I would build, I think my real estate transfer fee was about $500 bucks. I'm closing on a house next week I just built. I'm paying about $4,800. Thanks to Democratic Governor Jim McGreevey. You know, again, we don't make the laws, we just collect the fees. I'm hoping that if Governor Christie and the legislators become more Republican, we might have a shot of maybe reducing that or changing that. But as of right now, with the Democratic control, I don't see it happening. And it also is one of the reasons why the clerk's office takes in $36 million plus.
Candidate Nowacki.
As to realty transfer fee, I went actually on Zillow.com and I look at the average house in Morris County that was sold is $370,000. That's $2,900 realty transfer fees. there's no way that we can reduce. We don't write the laws, and until we pass any kind of law, there will be, you know, big changes in Trenton and all over. So I don't think so. We have the power to, as a county clerk, to do anything with the realty transfer fee. What I was proposing, you know, to stimulate stimulate the economy, maybe selling the houses in a. I was thinking maybe we can propose that the attorneys lower their fees, you know, because I went and I've done some research, and on average, the attorney charges $1,500, and for a house, $325,000. We look at the realty transfer fee, $1,900. So if you see the comparison, you know, we could stimulate the economy very fast. Thank you.
Freeholder Gross.
I think that it's a great idea to try to lower the realty transfer fee. Is it a practical idea? Is it realistic? It's really not. It's not a practical, nor is it a realistic idea at this point in time. First of all, I don't think we've ever seen the government turn around and give any taxes back, number one. Number two is, with the legislature that we have right now, which is, Republicans can't even get bills out of the committees, let alone promote a bill that would reduce a tax that was erroneously and egregiously increased by the Democratic governor, Jim McGreevey. So while I think it's a great idea, I would try to stimulate our economy and bring revenue into the county clerk's office by using technology, enhanced technology, to reduce costs and create efficiencies.
Any rebuttal?
Sure.
Candidate Bogart?
Sure. Number one, technology is extremely expensive and it gets outdated very quickly. I'm not a naysayer. I think it's possible to lower taxes and have greater efficiency and keep the money in the taxpayers' pockets. I wouldn't say it if I didn't think that I could accomplish it. Joan Bramhall, when she was running at one time, was saying to the public, I'd like to move the time that the elections are going to be held so that that would be a cost-saving measure. That was something that required legislative leadership to do that. I will highlight reducing the realty transfer fee for a short period of time, a percentage, like we did with the $8,000 home buyer credit, for 4 months to generate and stimulate the economy in the real estate market. It works. It's Reaganomics. It brings in more money and it keeps more money in the taxpayers' pockets.
Candidate Sancho, any rebuttal?
Nope. Thank you.
Candidate Nowacki, any rebuttal? Mr. Vigilante?
No, sir.
Okay, we'll move on to the next question. What will you do to reduce spending in the clerk's office? Candidate Sancho.
There's a lot of things you can do to reduce spending. One of them is to make sure your technology is up to date. You don't want to be over the top with your technology, you want to be cutting edge. And cutting edge technology can save them getting feedback. Cutting edge technology, it's getting in my ear really bad then, will keep you at a level where you can reduce spending. Not reducing staff, not cutting things out, you're not going to go in there and turn the place upside down. It's going to take time, because you have to evaluate all aspects of the office, figure out what's going to work the best, come up with a plan, and then implement the plan. And there's ways to save money. I have ways. I'm sure my other colleagues have ways also. But it's not something you can just go in and say, yeah, I'm going to reduce the budget 10% right off the bat. It's not going to happen. It's going to take time. Thank you.
Candidate Vigilante.
Well, the first thing I'm going to do to reduce spending, as I announced a couple weeks ago, I'm going to take a 10% pay cut. Just so you folks all understand, that position pays 6 figures. I don't believe anybody should walk in there making that kind of money personally, especially when you're asking those employees that work in that department to do more with less and pay more when they're later can make them less. So the first thing I would do is take a 10% pay cut. Secondly, I agree with my counterpart, is to go into the office again, eyes open, ears open, and listen to my employees and see what they can suggest to me, and then bring some of my organizational skills and leadership skills and what I've done in the past, and see how that would mesh with them and try to save money where we could.
Candidate Nowacki.
I think that the biggest cost to the department is personnel. So maybe, I'm not sure at this point, I'm not sure really what's would be the best way to reduce the cost, but I think maybe if we look at every single employee duty, and maybe we don't need to rehire any more people, and if somebody retires or leaves voluntarily, we just don't rehire, because personnel is the biggest expense in that department. So I will look at specific duty, evaluate everybody if they work to the fullest, and that would be my idea. Thank you.
Yeah, one of the things that I'd like to do is evaluate all of the positions and see where possibly through attrition, when someone leaves, that we could merge the work that they do together with one other person, and not really have to hire a second person, rehire someone to come in and do that job. I think that's a very cost-effective way of doing things. And that's what we've been doing up at the freeholder level when we are looking at personnel matters. The other thing is, I'm very happy to hear my fellow colleague up here, Mr. Sancelli, agree with me that and embrace the idea for technology and appear to recognize the value of a robust platform that will make it easier for us to deliver critical services in the most cost-efficient manner. However, at this point in time, Morris County is behind in its technology, and we need to move forward with that. Thank you.
I'm not so sure about that. I know they just got new computers and new monitors right at the clerk's office. I took a tour recently, and some of the offices were vacant in the clerk's office. I'm not sure why, but that's something to be examined. And if there is too much space there, maybe if there's other areas in the courthouse or the administration building that needs to use that kind of space, that's a cost-saving measure. I would examine it on a case-by-case basis by talking to the employees. Those are the ones who know best what is expended and what is needed and what is required. So I think it's a give and take. You have to talk to people, you have to see what's necessary, and you have to cooperate with them.
Any rebuttal, Mr. Sancelli?
No, thank you.
Mr. Vigilante?
No, sir, thank you.
Mr. Nowacki? Freeholder Grossi?
I would just like to say that part of the clerk's office should be to generate revenue and to generate the economy of Morris County. I've been very involved with economic development in Morris County, and by using technology that will be able to handle the growing needs of our population and the changing population, we will be more attractive to people and companies wanting to move into Morris County, which will generate revenue.
Any rebuttal?
It sounds very costly.
This will be the last question from the moderator, myself, and then we'll move on to audience questions. Again, we're light on audience questions, although we are butting up towards the end. So if anyone has questions, they can bring it on up. Why do you want to be the clerk, and what unique experiences would you bring to the position? Mr. Vigilante.
The reason I want to be clerk, it's actually almost what I do in the military. I'm a first sergeant at the medical clinic down there, and basically I take care of about 160 people. I take care of their wants, their needs, and I make sure my med techs, my nurses, and doctors have the resources and skills that they need to perform their jobs. It's almost identical. I'm a people person. That's what I love doing. I love taking care of customers. I think I have the leadership and the organizational skills to lead that department. And I believe, again, listening, I have the skill set to, be able to listen to my workers and let them tell me what to do. But then again, ultimately, I'm the leader and I'm the one that makes the decisions.
Get back to the order here. Mr. Nowacki.
Basically, and as I said before, in 1992 I came to America. I was the citizen who, was not involved much with the county itself. I worked and then I didn't have any. So basically, I want to pay back the people, and I show that, I came to America and I work hard, and now I want to give people back. But basically, as Jim said before, I was in the Army back home in Poland for 2 years. So I have some, skills working with people. I used to be auditor in Essex County, so I have a very good skills of listening to people and see what they need. And I think so. I have the personal approach. People kind of come to me and ask questions, and I am able to answer them. And I'm working for the county. I know every single department. I work with every single department head. I do fixed assets. So I know how the county operates, basically.
Yeah, as a freeholder, I'm fully aware of what the goals are of the freeholder board, which is to reduce spending and to reduce taxes. I also am very familiar with every department in the county, and I wanted to bring my skills as an executive manager to the county clerk's office, so that I can help work with the freeholder board and work with the other legislators and all of the people who are involved in the county to bring the most efficient, most cost-effective, and most service-oriented office in the county, and to help the freeholders continue to achieve their goals of fiscal responsibility to the taxpayers of Morris County. I live in Parsippany.
Candidate Bogart.
Thank you. I have many friends in the clerk's office in my field of residential real estate. I work with them a lot. I have friends and colleagues on the freeholders board that I appreciate having interaction with. I note that there are not many people on the freeholder board who are endorsing Ms. Grassi, but I do want to mention that it's important to understand that you have to work with people, and that's one of my great qualities. I know how to work well with people. I know how to solve problems with people in a respectful manner. I used to be a title searcher when I was in law school. That was one of my jobs. I love looking at old documents. That's one of the things that I think that I could bring to the clerk's office, because I could use those old documents to teach students and teens and show them what a great county that they live in by utilizing these tools.
I'm last. I'm the 8th child of 10. Growing up in Whippany, my number one sister is here tonight. She's number 1. I keep repeating it, and I tell everyone where I go. You're going to go into the clerk's office. It's a great job. Anyone can go in there with ideas, can go in there with egos, can go in there with anything. Go in there with compassion, and go in there with a great sense of humor. And I have one. I was the youngest of 5 boys. I got picked on all the time. So you develop that sense of humor. I want to go in there. I want to be the best, hardest working elected official you'll ever put in office. I made that promise to the people of Jefferson 15 years ago, and I've lived up to it for 15 years. Non-stop work, compassion, common sense. That's what it's all about. Go in there and be a leader. And to be a leader, you can mold right in, mix in with the crowd, and no one will even notice you because you're doing that good of a job. Thank you.
Okay. Looks like we have time for one question from the audience. We'll read this verbatim as it's been given to me. At the MCWRC debate at the clerk, all the clerk candidates said they would perform same-sex civil unions. How do the candidates who are Roman Catholic reconcile this with their faith, given that same-sex marriage is not permitted? Is your job more important than your faith? We'll start with candidate Nowak.
As a Roman Catholic, it's a tough question, and many people approach me regarding this. But sometimes you have to separate. I understand, but I'm the newer generation, and I think so. You have to face the world. It's always changing world, and sometimes I understand. I've been Catholic and my kids Catholic, but I always ask the question, what happens if your kid comes to you and say that he's homosexual or any kind? What will be the answer? Do you stop loving him because that's what he is? I think so we need to be adaptive to the always changing environment, and sometimes you have to reevaluate your faith and sometimes see what's right, what's wrong.
Freelder Gross.
Yeah, I'm a Roman Catholic as well, and I know that there's a conflict between those two concepts. However, you know, if, since we're going to get into religion, I believe it was Jesus Christ that said, you live by, the Romans make the law and you live by the law. And this is the law, you respect it. If they ask for taxes, you pay the taxes. If they ask for, if they make other rules and regulations, you do that too. So abiding by the law and effectively and following the letter and spirit of the law is also what we've been taught as Roman Catholics, to abide by the law. And I think that that's a very important concept to bring out there.
And Bogart.
Sure. The church is also got a very important canon of being all-inclusive. And right now, if a clerk in Morris County decides to perform marriages, they perform all marriages, same-sex, whatever it is, that's what they perform. I see it as an opportunity. In the 15 years that Joan Graham Hall was the clerk, she still is, she performed 2,000 marriages. It's not just one person getting married, it's two people. They bring a witness or two. They bring a parent or two, or a friend or two. It could be 10,000 people over a span of time that the clerk can touch and talk to and welcome into the county. I think that's a very important job of the clerk. It's the face of Morris County that welcomes new businesses, new people to our wonderful county. And I think that I would be able to explain to people why it's such a great place to live. And that would be a wonderful opportunity to do so.
This is a hot topic, and on our drive home from Morris Township the other night, I struggled with this one. And I beat myself up on the way home about it. My wife will tell you. I'm a Knights of Columbus, I'm a Catholic. But before I tell you the law, I'll tell you what people think. Does it make me any less a Catholic? Does it make you any less a Protestant? Does it make you any less whatever your religion is? That's what this country was founded on, freedom of religion. It doesn't make me any less a person if I have friends who are gay. It doesn't, I don't look at them as some abomination. I look at them as they're friends. So who am I to push my ideology on them? I'm not. But the clerk has a choice. You either perform all marriages or you perform none. There is no choosing. All or none.
Mr. Vigilante.
Thou shalt not kill is one of our 10 commandments. Being in the military, I have a lot of conflict with that. I took an oath of office when I joined the military, and that was my choice. The same as whoever gets elected here, or if I'm lucky enough to be elected, I'm going to take an oath of office. I'm not going to be able to pick and choose the duties that I perform in the clerk's office. It's part of my oath. I will uphold and solemnly swear to the oath that I've taken. I know that doesn't make a lot of people happy. I got a lot of people came up the other night after the meeting. But it's still, I may make a decision you may not like, but I'm going to stand by my decision whether you like it or not. And I'm going to tell you why. I'll respect your view and hope you respect mine. Again, I have a lot of organizational conflict with that, but I'm still going to do the job I'm sworn to do.
Any rebuttal, Mr. Nowacki? Anybody else? Any rebuttal? Okay. We'll move on to closing statements. Closing statements will be 90 seconds each. We'll go in reverse order than the opening statements. You're welcome to use the podium. We'll begin with Mr. Vigilante.
Once again, folks, I would ask kindly for your vote and for the rest of the residents of Morris County. Why? Because I believe I have the organizational and the skill set to lead people. And that's basically what the county clerk's going to do. They're going to lead people in that office. I did make the announcement. I want to reiterate once again, I like to lead by example. I like to show my folks that you know, I have what it takes to be their boss. I know nobody's taxes are going to go down with my 10% pay cut. I got that. But you know what? I think it's the message and what it sends to the folks, again, in that office and the rest of the county employees or municipal employees, telling them that they got to do more with less or they got to pay more when they're making less. So I would respectfully ask for your vote, and I thank you for your time tonight. Thank you.
Okay, so June 4th is the, you know, I would say the judgment day. Got that right, huh? So please vote for me. I think I have the same, like Jim said before me. I have the organizational skills. I have the finance background. I'm leading by example my family. And I'll be a good candidate. I'm in the, like some of the people say, in the system. I'll be there no matter what. I'm 41. I've been with the county for 6 years. I'm very far away from collecting any pension. I have to work hard for the next 20, 25 years, and who knows how long. So, you know, I'll be the best choice, I think so. Thank you.
You know, the county clerk's position is an administrative position. That's what it is. And it requires executive management experience, a strong administrator that understands the needs of the county. I'm the only candidate here that has those qualifications. As your freeholder 3 years ago, I asked for your support, and I made promises to you. You voted me into office overwhelmingly. I delivered on my promises. I have a proven track record of reducing spending and taxes. And this year we delivered a 0% flat tax, the first time in 15 years. As chair of the budget subcommittee, I garnered the necessary knowledge of the county's entire operations. I've established strong relationships with all levels of government, built on respect and competence. And that is why I have been endorsed by so many Morris County leaders. As chief of enforcement, I commanded a diverse staff of more than 100 people throughout the state of New Jersey and 5 regional offices with 3 satellite offices. As your county clerk, I will demonstrate the same level of competence that I delivered to you as freeholder. Listen, folks, you know me. You know that I made promises 3 years ago. I'm promising you tonight that I will work as diligently and as hard as I have as a freeholder to make the Morris County Clerk's office something that you can be proud of. I promise to do that, and I will. Thank you very much.
I just want to thank one of the elected officials who are here tonight that is endorsing me, Mr. Bob Davis, Mayor Bob Davis from the Borough of Chester. Thank you, Bob. And also Ken Short from Washington Township. I need to say again that I am a fiscal conservative. I have a very even keel. I know what my principles are. I want to keep taxes low. I want to keep spending low. I think we can all do this job. I respect my candidates, my fellow candidates, but I think that you have to have the right kind of philosophy to stay in this position and to guide the County of Morris as county clerk. I believe in a limited government, like the words of Ronald Reagan. He said, man is not free unless government is limited. Limited government in Morris County means keeping taxes down and keeping money in the taxpayers' pockets. It's very simple, and that's what I aim to do. With regard to my husband, again, I have to make this statement. He is a judge. I'm very proud of it. He's a double domer at Notre Dame. He's a wonderful person. He can't defend himself here. But if anybody has a problem with that, then I think that they have a problem with Lieutenant Governor Kim Guadagno. Her husband is a judge as well. We are both people that earn money in our family, and we pursue to serve the people of our state and of our county. And I hope that you join me in voting for Lori Bogard, line 3. I'm Jim Fuller.
I'm last again. 15 years of proven, effective leadership in Jefferson Township. 29 years of proven leadership in the auto racing industry. 21 years working for Morris County in the elections and in the public works. I love everybody. I think they're great. This campaign has been a lot of fun for me. I'm tired. I have the best campaign managers in the world. Their names are Debbie, Brett, and Courtney. My daughter Courtney, I don't have bad days, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. I never have a bad day, ever. And if you read my flyer, you'll know why. My daughter's advice to me tonight was, don't be a loser, Dad. I said, I won't. I'll make you proud. She goes, I'm going to watch it, because they said it was going to be taped. So she will watch it and she'll critique it. This job is about being compassionate, using common sense, and having a concern for what goes on in Morris County to the businesses and the residents. I'm your best candidate. She's your best candidate. Lori, Ann, Z, I just say Z, I'm sorry, and Jimmy. Great people. I'm your best candidate because I have the best sense of humor.
You just proved that.
Number 1 on the ballot, hopefully number 1 in your heart. Thank you, and vote for me, June 4th.
All right, I'd like to thank you all for a lively, informative debate. We'll turn it back over to you.
Yep, thank you, all candidates. Yeah, it's a really good question. I think we're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we'll go right on to the freeholders from there. So